Commissioner Ross is in chambers.
Okay, and the rest are online, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we will begin our special commission meeting dealing with the fairgrounds. Please note for the record that all commissioners are present. Commissioner Ross is in chambers and the rest of us are online via Zoom. The first item on the agenda is the commission or the fairgrounds, and who we have is who is going to speak on that program? Ms. Knopf, are you going to talk about that?
I hadn't prepared anything.
Oh, okay.
My understanding, when we're talking about the fairgrounds today, we're talking about as it relates to COVID for the rest of the, or for this season, is that correct?
So is Carice on?
Yes, I am here, Commissioner.
Okay,
Carice, I believe that you talked about bringing it to the full commission, and we were going to have a special meeting because you felt that it would take more time at a regular commission meeting. So would you like to start?
Certainly, why not?
Great. Thank you.
Yes, I did, because there are several stakeholders that use the fairground property, not just the raceway, but obviously our county fair. We've got horse shows that go on out there. We've got the go-karts. We've got 4-H. There are several programs I learned last year that actually use our fairgrounds. All of them are at this time trying to make plans for the 2021 season. And technically the fairgrounds is still closed. So this meeting today is to have a discussion about whether or not the commission would like to reopen the fairgrounds. If so, what would be the conditions of that reopening and what would that look like? And this meeting was also to give each of those stakeholders an opportunity to address the commission and express their thoughts, concerns, suggestions for the upcoming season in hopes of coming to some consensus and making a decision either today or at our meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, do we have any stakeholders that are here to present any information to the commission?
Madam Chair, before we do that, could I ask a question?
Certainly.
Yeah, this is Dave Engen. Kari, we could probably shorten some of this by you describing essentially what's in the last part of the email that you sent out, saying how we can open this subject to health department dashboard guidance with the idea of stepping in if we would have to in an emergency situation. I mean, it looks like to me that you're recommending, and I think I agree with it, that we open up, but keep control if some emergency arises. So can you explain your situation there, please?
Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Falk, if I could interrupt.
Yes, Commissioner Falk.
Well, I agree with Commissioner Engen, and I think to expedite it, I agree with everything he said. And it seems like that each participant out there needs to have some sort of an alternative plan if things would go in some other way than we anticipate. So they need to be flexible and be able to, are they going to be able to escape their contracts? And, can they reduce their numbers or whatever relatively quickly, much as the county has done? And I think if they can do that or present a plan to us, it's fairly simple. We move forward.
Okay, I believe that Commissioner Engen wanted Carice to talk a little bit about what she had put in an email to us. So do you want to give us review that for us, please?
Well, very quickly, I want to introduce Dustin Johnson from Grand Forks Public Health. He can help address some of these issues and the CDC guidance, as well as the health officer's dashboard. But really, the short answer to Commissioner Engen's question is if the commission chose to follow the health officer's dashboard, then all of the stakeholders would have a place to go to look at what color or condition we are in. We are currently at the green level. The green level says that large venues, indoor and outdoor, can operate at an 80% capacity, ensuring social distancing and mask wear continues. That is also the top two CDC guidelines. As we all know, they are still wanting those mitigation measures in place until we reach our 60% vaccination rate and herd immunity. We are currently, I believe, Dustin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Grand Forks County is at about 14% as far as our vaccination rates go. But if we use the dashboard, stakeholders will have a reference document to guide their event planning. And obviously the commission reserves the right as owners of the property to cap attendance and or cancel events if public health discovers that there is a cluster outbreak that originated at a fairgrounds event that would cause, community spread. Dustin, do you have anything that you could add to that?
No, I don't believe so. I think you covered it very well.
Okay, so we are at the green level. Carissa's correct. We are currently at a 11-12% of population that have been fully immunized or in the process of getting immunized. According to the meetings that Mr. Ford and I attend on Wednesday afternoons, they're talking about herd immunity. They're thinking sometime later in the summer, possibly July, August, is what the institutional partners are thinking that we will be at. Right now, we're at a green level. We did have Dr. Waltz take the mask mandate off as of this week. We'll continue moving forward, hopefully in that green level with a low number of COVID positives. Discussion by the commission in using the CDC guidelines of being green, it would be at 80% capacity for outdoor events. All of the events at the fairgrounds are outdoor, with the exception of some of the indoor events that we have at the fairgrounds, say when they have exhibition tents or exhibition different exhibits at the fair during the county fair. And that could be looked at as well, 80% capacity, with masks continuing to be worn, sanitation stations taking place. The biggest event we probably continue to have at the fairgrounds is the speedway, the car races that take place on Friday nights. A couple of exceptions with World of Outlaws and things that come in like that, usually once or twice per year, but that still would be an expectation of 80%. Do any commissioners have any comments at this time? If there are no comments, does anybody want to speak on, does anybody want to come forward from the different stakeholders that utilize the fairgrounds, or somebody from the fair board that would like to address the 80% capacity as it is right now with the green level that we are in Grand Forks County?
Madam Chair, I could address that issue.
Okay, thank you.
80% capacity, since we don't, during a fair, it's hard to set an exact capacity for what the fairgrounds could hold. But I really don't know if we've ever approached 80% capacity. Our busiest nights are usually either Friday or Saturday nights. And we've usually got racing or some event in the grandstand. Even with racing on a Friday night during the fair, the grandstands are about half full or a little bit better. And there's still plenty of room to walk around on the grounds. There might be limited cases where a group kind of pauses in the buildings for exhibits, where those buildings might reach that 80% capacity briefly, but not for an extended period of time. So I don't think the capacity wise would really affect the operation of the fair a lot. Although we are planning on making some modifications, extra cleaning, extra
Sanitation stations.
yeah, porta potties, wash stations. We're looking at separating our entrance and exits for the ground so we don't have bottlenecks there, and using more contactless ticket sales for entrance by doing more online. So we're looking at those options and going to put a lot of those into effect anyway. So those would be the situations, I think, where we would reach more of an issue for short periods where we get a bunch of people bottlenecked into one place, and we're working on those.
And the fair, I believe Carrie had commented that you contract with various stakeholders in utilizing the fairgrounds throughout the summer or for different events. Is that correct?
Yes, we do.
And in that contract, would you be stating that there should be no more than 80% capacity, still requiring wearing of masks, and then having appropriate sanitation stations?
We can certainly do that. Our main renters are, of course, our annual renters, the Speedway and the Horse Association and the go-karts. And they're already working with Carrie on those things, but a number of other outside people that would rent from us, we can certainly incorporate those into any contracts.
Do you, your largest event for the Speedway, is that probably the World of Outlaws?
For the Speedway itself, yes.
Okay, and do you think the World of Outlaws is at 80% or greater?
I believe Darren Evevold from the Speedway, I thought I saw him on, and he may be able to address that better if he is.
Darren, are you available online?
Yes. Yeah, we've never reached full capacity for an outlaw race. I mean, that's obviously the World of Outlaw Sprint Car races are our busiest events. Mother Nature is cooperating. So I would echo Mark's comments. We haven't reached capacity ever. So is it busy? I would say, yeah. We're busy on those events for sure. So thankful for that. That's a good event to bring to the community, I guess.
Okay.
Just to touch on, for clarification purposes, Dr. Walls lifted the mask mandate, but so to get myself more acclimated, because we're approaching the season, obviously the dashboard, is that the state dashboard or the county dashboard or the city dashboard or?
The county dashboard, and that's through public health.
So that's just what's the public health website, or how do I get there?
We can provide that for you so
Okay.
that, and we'll send an email out so that you know how to access the dashboard.
Okay.
And do you think that in recent years, have you been at 80% or greater at the World of Outlaws?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So would there be a problem at this point, unless something changes with the CDC guidelines? Do you have any concern about limiting it to 80% for the World of Outlaws?
I don't think that would be an issue.
Okay.
That outlaw event is still a bit of ways. Obviously, it's the first Friday of June, so
Okay.
it's our understanding, and people are utilizing vaccinations, which is great. I'm going to make my phone call as a 55-year-old now. I think I'm up to bat and will be able to get vaccinated. So I think those PSAs are all great and encouraging people to get vaccinated. And I've read a number of articles that already says that North Dakota and South Dakota is at herd immunity. But that's an article, so I'm not following the data as closely as, let's say, Dustin Johnson that you have here, but I think we're headed in the right direction.
Absolutely. We are still at about 11 or 12% for the county, or for the state, I believe. And we're in close proximity as far as that percentage with Fargo, Minot, Bismarck, and then Grand Forks. So that is something that is looked at by public health on a consistent basis. And we hope to see herd immunity quicker. It is dependent upon individuals getting vaccinated and also the vaccines themselves being available. I know that with the vaccines that are going on in various places, they do want to make sure they're using all of the doses that are available instead of having any of those doses being destroyed or not being effective. So get yourself and encourage others to get on waiting lists, and you should be getting a call quite soon so that you can go to a specific facility and start your vaccine regimen.
Yeah, that's a great plan to get them in arms, and that's I think working here in North Dakota. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited about my vaccination. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Commissioners, is it your wishes to put together making a motion with a requirement that we continue to follow the CDC guidelines, taking a look at the dashboard to make sure that we are in green? At green, it would be 80% capacity, both indoors and outdoors, with the requirement of additional sanitation stations and the wearing of masks. I guess I'm asking that question. We could make a motion, or we can just share that information with the Fair Board, encouraging them to use those guidelines when they put their contracts together.
Madam Chair, this is Dave. I think we have to make a motion to lift the mandate that we had from last year. So I guess I'd make the motion that we follow the county dashboard guidance. That when it's in green, it's the 80% capacity. It's without, but it would also, the county would still have the right, if necessary, as requested by public health, to change things in emergency situations or such. But perhaps Kari can fill in what I didn't say there, but I'm just suggesting we follow the guidance she laid out in her email that said, follow the county dashboard. We're presently in green, and we go by those limits. Sounds like the race folks and the Fair Board are okay with that. So if someone else isn't, they could bring it up if during further discussion if we have a second.
Okay.
Commissioner Peach,
Yes.
this is Kari again. I would also, just as a follow-on to that, remind the commission that all of these entities did submit a safety plan last year, with
Correct.
the exception of the Fair Board, because the fair was canceled, so there was no reason to. But we could request that they update their plans. I know the Raceway made significant changes to accommodate the restrictions of having a pandemic and races. I'm guessing those changes are probably still in place for movement, like through the concession area and that kind of thing. But I think that might be a good idea as well to add.
Commissioner Engen, would you be happy to add the updating of their plans in your motion?
Yes, that's a very good idea.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there someone who would like to second it?
Madam Chair, it's Commissioner Ross. I would make that second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Do any of the commissioners have any questions or comments to make at this time?
Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Ross again.
Yes.
they talked about maybe July or August that we would reach 60% vaccination in Grand Forks County. Could that mean that the attendance could increase? If we stay green and we have over 60% of the population of Grand Forks County vaccinated.
We certainly could rescind the motion at that point when we do get herd immunity. And then we would just wait to see when that would happen with the county, would be my assumption.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments or questions that the commissioners have?
Chairman Peach, I agree with the motion. I'll support it. And just sort of aside to Commissioner Roth's thoughts, we also have to remember we could go back to yellow or red very easily and the numbers could go the opposite direction. So as long as everybody's aware of that and we follow the guidelines, that'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the commissioners at this point? If not, do we have any stakeholders that would like to make comments? If there are no stakeholders that have any comments to make, we'll vote on the motion. Assuming a roll call vote, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. So Kari, you will be working with the Fair Board and the stakeholders that will be contracting with the Fair Board for use of the fairground and making sure that they update their plans and realize and show them where the access to the county dashboard is through public health, so they can take a look at that. And then if you would share any changes in guidance issues from the CDC, that would be very helpful.
I can do that, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else that needs to be covered at this time? If there isn't, I would welcome a motion from a commissioner to adjourn the meeting.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Ross, I would move for adjournment.
Okay, do we have a second on that motion?
Second, Commissioner Paul.
Okay, assuming a roll call vote, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The meeting